Complete Fighter Podcast.
Hi guys, welcome to episode 17 of the Complete Fighter Podcast. My name is Cormac, and as always, I'm delighted to be joined by my friend, the voice of MMA, the one, the only, the myth, the legend, Sam Nathan. Is it Nathan?
I thought you'd changed once and for all. I thought you were finally going to admit my superiority, but you just decided to take the piss out of me as usual. So
the voice of Irish MMA is a nice one.
Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. But
actually, a lot of that has actually changed because I was just having a vape outside with Dana White because Dana White doesn't believe in social distancing, and Dana White told me the real details. He said that guy Sam knows his stuff, but he said try to catch him out. So I know what's going on, but for UFC 249 Saturday next week, but I'll see if you do.
Fair enough. I don't even know what to say to that. But no, Dana, as you said, he doesn't believe in the whole social distancing thing. He believes in having the number one pay-per-view of all time, which I still think he's on course to do for next Saturday. But that remains to be seen. I suppose there seems to be some appetite for it, but not as much as I thought there would be, to be honest with you. Doesn't seem to be as much hype around it as much as I thought there would be. But yeah.
So it's if we want to go straight into it, Sam. Obviously, some of our listeners, if I was a listener, would be casual MMA fans. Some would be dedicated boxing fans. Some would be really dedicated MMA fans. Some would be casual boxing fans, or some just like one or the other. For casual MMA fans, would you mind giving a very brief overview, if you don't mind, Sam, of how we got here?
Yeah, so basically, obviously the original fight was meant to be Tony Ferguson against Khabib Nurmagomedov back on April 18th in Brooklyn. But obviously the dream matchup there was scrapped for the fifth time with Nurmagomedov stranded in Russia because of the global coronavirus pandemic. Obviously there was a lot of back and forth there, people saying that he could have fought if he wanted to, but obviously he didn't want to fight with the pandemic going on. So I believe he originally went to Abu Dhabi because they were prepared to put the fight on there, and he was refused entry into the country, so he went back to Russia. And then obviously in an attempt to keep the date and to keep the event going, Tony Ferguson was set then to fight Justin Gaethje at the Tashi Palace Casino on tribal land in Northern California. And that was ditched after ESPN and Disney and the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, stepped in and said they didn't want the event to go ahead. So obviously that didn't stop Tony Ferguson from cutting to 155 pounds the day before the scrap fight and weighed in at 155 pounds. But obviously the fight is now being rescheduled to take place in Florida this coming Saturday now, behind closed doors. And a couple of other fights that were set to happen fell through, but some of the matchups that have come up are even better than that now because of people pulling out. We're actually getting, it's probably one of the best UFC cards in a long time. And finally a bit of sport to look forward to this Saturday.
That was actually a very good timeline. The way you actually expressed it in literally 2 minutes. I'm impressed with the historical timeline, especially given the fact that you did foundation level history for the Leaving Cert. Just to, what was the fight on the card you want to start off with, Sam?
Yeah, so I'm just first of all, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read the card out top to bottom, and then take it from the most important fights. Run through the most important fights I think on the card. So, we'll go from bottom to top. So the first fight on the card is Ryan Spann against Sam Alvey. Then you have Bryce Mitchell against Charles Rosa, Vincente Luque against Nico Price. That's a really good fight. Jacare Souza against Uriah Hall, brilliant fight. Carla Esparza against Michelle Watterson, brilliant fight. Fabricio Werdum, Alexei Olenek, really good fight. Greg Hardy against Jorgen De Castro, it's a good fight again. And then on to the top of the prelims, you've got Pettis against Cerrone, then you've got Calvin Tarr against Jeremy Stevens, Francis Ngannou, Jairzinho Rosenstruck, Henry Cejudo against Dominic Cruz for the bantamweight title, and then for the interim lightweight championship of the world, Tony Ferguson against Justin Gaethje. So, yeah, like it's a brilliant card, absolutely stacked top to bottom. So what I was going to do is run through, starting with maybe Anthony Pettis against Donald Cerrone, because a lot of people are interested in that fight.
That's the, even just as a casual, that's the fight I'm most excited for. So, but yeah, if you just want to give your prediction, 2 cents background to that.
Yeah, so sort of laying out how we got here. So obviously, as we know, Donald Cerrone went prior to December 2015 when he fought Dos Anjos for the lightweight title. He was on a huge run, and then he was knocked out in the first round against Dos Anjos for that lightweight title in December 2015. Then since that defeat, Cerrone's gone 8-7. He's on a 3-fight losing streak at the minute, and each of those losses have come by way of TKO. Cerrone's most recent setback was obviously, as we all know, back in January, and that was a TKO setback to Conor McGregor. And Cerrone is the number 6 ranked competitor in the UFC lightweight division. 37-year-old Cerrone has a career record of 36-14, with 1 no contest then. So, I mean, Donald Cerrone has been up and down for the last while, and certainly at the moment people could argue he's down. Obviously, there's been a lot of controversy with the likes of Stephen A. Smith from ESPN saying he took a dive against Conor McGregor.
Disgraceful.
He's getting on a bit now, 37, and he's on that 3-fight losing streak, and not just a 3-fight losing streak, but a 3-fight losing streak where he's been TKO'd, and every single one of those fights isn't good, you know. So,
it's sorry to jump in there. I don't want to jump in before your prediction, but you just fucking riled me up there by mentioning that absolute fool Stephen A. Smith. The fact that you could say about someone who probably loves fighting more than anyone else in the UFC, like Don Cowboy Cerrone, I could be wrong about this time. I think he once fought 6 or 7 times in 1 year in the UFC.
Yeah,
like, that's someone who loves to fight, like. And then you have this moron Stephen A. Smith who's never stepped in the ring. Like, I've never stepped in the ring, and he's saying, "Oh, the person took a dive," or whatever. Absolute fool. You're saying this about a veteran who got more victories in the UFC than anyone else ever.
Yeah, I mean, like, Donald Cerrone is a legend of the sport. I think Stephen A. Smith, it's the case with the guy. He's just clearly lacking knowledge about the sport. And listen, that guy's in the business of saying outlandish things to get a reaction from people. So, like, more power to him. But at the same time, like, at least do a bit of research about the sport before he starts outing off about it. But what can you do? But obviously, he's coming up against Anthony Pettis, and obviously he's fought in 3 weight divisions and put together a record of 4-7 since he was last a lightweight champion, and he fought Benson Henderson. He's 33 now. He's on the 2-fight losing streak. Obviously, his most recent setback was a January submission loss to Carlos Diego Ferreira at lightweight. But we spoke about that fight before it happened. That sort of said that I felt at the time it was like his last chance to get a win and maybe get a run at the belt. Obviously, I'm probably mistaken. If he wins this fight, he might be again back in the conversation again. But he's the number 1. He's the number 15 ranked fighter in the welterweight rankings, and his overall record now is 22-10. Like, so, I mean, Pettis, he's no spring chicken either. He's sort of, I don't know. We speak about Pettis a lot and say that his reputation for how flashy he is maybe goes against him a lot of the time, and that is like the attempt to be flashy is becomes more important than actually doing what's necessary to win the fight. Like you
It
get
does though. It does.
yeah, I remember you gave the example of when he had Tony Ferguson on the ropes, and like he was trying to throw cartwheel kicks and this sort of thing when he should be just standing up and using his basic boxing and kickboxing. But yeah, like as you rightly said, it does sort of, that reputation for having to do the tricks gets in the way sometimes of doing the simple things.
Do you when you said that? So it was. I'm correct in saying that Anthony Pettis' second last loss was against Nate Diaz?
Actually, I'm trying to think, was there a fight between that?
I'm pretty certain it was the second or his third last loss. Anyways,
I would say it's the second last one. Correct if you know. Yeah, I'd say you're right. Hold on. Yeah, so before it was Nate Diaz, and then before that, obviously he beat Stephen Thompson then, and then Tony Ferguson was before that. So
you see, the thing about the thing I'm for want of a much better term, I think Pettis goes in all styles blazing, and I think that Donald Cerrone goes in all all guns blazing. Not just saying it because he's a cowboy, but like the difference being that Pettis is, and correct me if you disagree, it's alright, but he'll try everything, Pettis, to win, and I have to respect that. Cowboy just seems to be a lot more loving to brawl and a lot more immediate with everything, which is maybe why he's accused of having a glass chin and he's been TKO'd so many times.
Yeah, I don't know, with the whole surrounding thing as well as obviously when he was speaking about the Conor McGregor fight.
Oh yeah.
He said that he felt Donald showed up, but Cowboy didn't, and he feels they're almost two different people. It's like split personality disorder or something like. But yeah, I can sort of see what it means. He didn't really seem all there in that fight. In previous like TKO losses, maybe like when he lost to Tony Ferguson, I think he was there, but he was just beaten by a better guy on the night. But and obviously he had the issue with his eye where they obviously had to stop the fight. But in regards to this fight, I'd actually favour Cerrone going into this fight, even though he's the older of the two. But I just think, as you spoke before with Anthony Pettis, just that need to be flashy, and I don't know if his heart is in trying to win a title anymore. I think with Cerrone, because he's got a lot more to prove now, especially I'd say he's really riled up after Stephen A. Smith's comment, so he really wants to prove himself again. Whereas Pettis, I don't know, I think he's just sort of racking up these sort of bigger fights to get a few quid before he packs it in, or maybe moves to Bellator like his brother did or something like that. But I'd favour Donald Cerrone going this one. Another thing that you have to consider as well is that because of lockdown over the last couple of months, I mean, Anthony Pettis probably maybe he's been training with maybe someone like his brother, who's obviously a lot smaller than him. But Cerrone's out on his own, out in a ranch by himself, and I think a lot of his training partners live out there anyway. So he'd be able to probably get close enough to a full camp. From what I've seen, obviously a lot of the fighters that he trains to actually live on his ranch, so I'm sure he'd be able to keep training with them. But yeah, I think that might be an advantage going in as well, having close to a proper training camp.
Yeah, that was in the Brett Okamoto interview. Donald Cerrone made the interesting point when he said, while it's a brilliant card, he said, how good is it going to be of a watch? Because it's not like people had the 12-week training camp when the majority of the gyms are closed. The majority of their training partners are maybe in different countries, different cities. How is it that they can even get ready? So you're saying, to read between the lines, you're suggesting, are you, Sam, that Donald Cerrone will be more prepared for this?
I believe so. Like looking at his social media, that sort of thing, and looking at the social media of the guys who normally train with him, they all seem to be on site in Albuquerque where he lives on the ranch. So he'll have them as training partners anyway. Whereas Pettis, as far as I can see, the only person he's done any training with is his brother. But I could be completely wrong about that. But that's what is judging just by what you see on social media and preparation for the fight. It would seem that way. But I'm gonna go with Cerrone for that one.
Yeah, and if Cerrone does get it done, how does he get it done?
I don't think I don't think either of them will be finished. I think it'll go to a decision. I think a lot of fights on the card will probably go to a decision. I don't think to be finished. Maybe that'd be down to people not having full training, but it might be a bit sloppy. But we'll see. I still think Cerrone gets it done. I think he wins by decision.
One of the just maybe before we move on, one of the many common factors between Cerrone and Anthony Pettis is that both of them fought Tony Ferguson, and both Cerrone and Anthony Pettis fought Tony Ferguson, and both of them lost due to a doctor's decision. Who do you think was better against Ferguson?
I would say Pettis was, because obviously in the second round, he came back and after sort of being destroyed in the first round, he came back and he obviously rocked Tony. But I would say it was Pettis did the better job.
And out of the two, who needs to win this more?
I think Pettis needs to win it more, because
I agree.
Whereas a Cowboy, he's old enough now, so it's kind of acceptable whether if he loses or not. Like, the guy's already a legend of the sport. Not to say that Pettis isn't, but if Pettis wants to make a serious run at a title, he has to win this. If he can't beat a 37-year-old Cerrone, he's not going to beat any of the current contenders for the title.
Yeah, no, it's it may be straight to Bellator for him.
And one thing I will say, even though I predicted Cerrone would win, Pettis is actually the favourite to win the fight. So
by much?
I only have the US odds here, so he's minus 130 and Cerrone is plus 110. So not a huge gap, but it's still a lot of people like favouring Pettis there, it seems, judging by the odds the bookies are in America anyway. But but yeah, I suppose
sorry, no, go on, yeah.
So I was just going to say we'll move on. It was just a bit pressed for.
Oh no, of course.
Here,
go on.
So obviously the next fight on the card is a featherweight fight, really, really good fight, between Calvin Kattar and Jeremy Stephens. Kattar obviously is 17-3, and he's coming off that fight of the night decision loss to Zabit Magomed Sharipov in Russia, in Moscow there, a couple of months back. And then Jeremy Stephens, better known to the casual fans as who the fuck is that guy?
Who the fuck is that guy?
But obviously Jeremy Stephens is a really good fighter. He's trains with Dominic Cruz at Alliance, and he's 28-17, and he's coming off his loss to Yair Rodriguez. Obviously that was the rematch after their first controversial fight ended with the eye poke the first time they fought, but he lost. He lost the rematch to Yair Rodriguez. It's a big matchup at 145 pounds, and we spoke about, obviously, with the previous fight there, about people training in preparation for this. I know that Jeremy Stephens and Dominic Cruz, they seem to both be living together in preparation for this fight and been training during the lockdown, so in California. So they both seem ready to go. I mean, you couldn't really ask for maybe a better training partner than former bantamweight champ Dominic Cruz, especially when he's preparing for such a big comeback fight.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
But I'm going to go with. I agree with the bookies on this one. Calvin Kattar is the favourite. Stephens, I don't think he's no spring chicken. I think it sort of showed in the fight against Yair Rodriguez. I think maybe things are passing by a little bit now. think Qatar, obviously, he lost his last fight to Zabit Magomed Sharipov, but Zabit is a ridiculous opponent. He's so unorthodox, ridiculous cardio, and he went the distance with him. And some people even thought that Qatar won the fight and that he was robbed because he was in Moscow. But yeah, I'm going to go with Qatar in that one. He's the -245 favorite against Stevens, who's +205. So yeah, I think Qatar has more to gain. I think Stevens probably has more to lose if he loses this one after losing to Rodriguez. He sort of falls out of. I think he falls out of any sort of title conversation there. But
is he close to that?
Yeah, like I mean, he lost to Rodriguez, who obviously is a top contender in the division, but Qatar obviously lost to Zabit, who's a big contender, big star of the division now. So this for me is like a really important fight for them, one of them, to get back into the title conversation for the 145-pound division. But yeah, I'm going to go with Calvin Qatar for that fight. So
it was well, no, yeah, it'd be interesting. It's always nice as well when there's not a title on the line, but it is a fight that does have bearing on future title fight opportunities, you know.
Yeah.
The next fight we are going to discuss. We obviously won't be discussing my fight against Big Joe Joyce because I had a spinal injury, obviously, but you know, which was settled for me to fight him at 155. But listen, I had my spinal injury, whatever. He's afraid of me, so.
Good luck getting Big Joe Joyce down to 155, like.
Yeah, but it's you know, it's not just my spinal injury. I think it's just that he's actually terrified of me. But oh my God, why did I say that?
You literally just called out the hardest man on the planet, like.
He is the toughest man. And I love Big Joe Joyce, man. You should look at his videos where he talks about Fury and Joshua and Wilder. It's hilarious. But listen, we'll talk about that another day. The next fight in is you wanted to get into.
Yeah, so the next fight on the card is before the first title fight of the night. We have a heavyweight fight between Francis Ngannou against Jairzinho Rosenstruck. I always get his name wrong, but Ngannou now 14-3. He's riding a 3-fight win streak. And before that, he had lost obviously to Stipe and Derek Lewis. And I suppose the thing with Ngannou is he's being criticised for not being well-rounded enough. A lot of people just say all he relies on is that freakish knockout power and how big he is. And then obviously he's coming up against Rosenstruck, who's 10-0 in MMA, and he's got an extensive kickboxing record, and his last 2 wins were over legends like Alistair Overeem and Andrei Arlovsky. So like he's no a stand-up, and he's no slouch of Ngannou, who's just got freakish knockout power. So this we spoke before saying a lot of the fights on the card may go to decision, might not get a lot of finishes. Some of the fights might be a bit sloppy because people's lack training. But if I'm picking any fight of the night for a knockout guaranteed, I give my Eddie Hearn KO guarantee, 10-ounce gloves, no head guards, someone's getting knocked out. That's the guarantee, and it's for this fight. Ngannou is the favourite for the fight. Maybe that's because he has slightly more experience, and obviously he's a bit more hype behind his name. But as I said, Rosenstruck with an extensive kickboxing background, and he's 10-0. He hasn't been beaten in MMA, so that's a really, really good fight. I'm still going to favour Ngannou slightly, and I'm going to favour him because of that experience. But that's a really good fight in the heavyweight division on the card, and it's one that I'd expect someone to be knocked out in, so don't blink for that one.
When you're actually talking about maybe the really good fights, or people who do actually maybe have an actual name, but it's I do actually think that you need to consider the Francis Ngannou, which is maybe becoming a star right now by his Instagram videos. Was there a video of him kicking a pad or something that a small guy was holding, and the guy literally flew across the room?
I'm trying to think now.
it was on Instagram Live. Yeah. Not Instagram. It was just on Instagram. But it was this small little guy who was kicking a pad. He was holding the kick pad, excuse me. And Francis Ngannou just took one kick of it, and the guy literally flew across the room.
And the guy's a freak of nature, like an incredible story. Like, obviously, he used to be homeless on the streets of Paris, and then
Serious?
He used to be homeless on the streets of Paris. Got into MMA, which is obviously still illegal in France as well. So, and now here he is. He's in the UFC and fought some of the biggest names. Fought the likes of Stipe. Obviously, that didn't go well for him. Fought Derek Lewis, didn't go well for him. But since then, he's back on a 3-fight win streak, and
he's almost becoming big quickly enough, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, well, he was big before he fought Stipe. I mean, there was so much hype around him because he's so big and such like a freak of nature and he's got such power that people sort of expected him to roll through Stipe. But I think Stipe is the sort of better all-round fighter, and a lot of people came out and said afterwards that maybe he's not well-rounded enough, which goes against him. I'm not too sure about Jairzinho Rosenstruck's wrestling background. That's probably the way to win the fight for him, but he's no slouch either in the stand-up game. As I said before, extensive kickboxing record, and he hasn't been defeated in MMA, so it could go either way there with a knockout in that fight.
All right. Okay. No, yeah. Well, it's I'm definitely. I was looking forward to May 9th, but a lot more pumped up now. Maybe I don't look it because 2 coffees later I'm still absolutely exhausted. I was watching so much shit last night until the early hours in the morning because it's bank holiday weekend. I was watching Take Me Out reruns for some reason. What the fuck? Anyways, keeping the excitement going. What was it you wanted to talk about now, Sam?
So the co-main event of the night is, apart from the main event, probably the best fight on the card, but it's an incredible fight. It's Henry Cejudo against Dominic Cruz for the bantamweight title. Obviously, Cejudo was meant to fight Jose Aldo, and Dominic Cruz has now stepped in. Now, the thing is, Dominic Cruz is
great fight.
Dominic Cruz is my favorite fighter ever. When I first started watching the UFC, he was obviously on that incredible run where he was bantamweight champion, and he couldn't. I love the way he fights. His footwork is incredible. He couldn't be touched for years, and then obviously he came up against Cody Garbrandt, which was his last fight, and his last fight, Cormac, was back in 2016. So that's a huge layoff. Obviously because of all the injuries he's gone through, with both his knees, the soles of his feet, I believe his shoulder, his arms, stuff, everything. He's had so many injuries. So I mean, he's 22-2 with his record. Like, he's a legend of the division. And between those 2 losses, he had a 13-fight win streak, but obviously they were spread out over a good few years. Watching him train with Jeremy Stevens on the likes of Instagram and whatever else, he seems to be in great shape. But I mean, it's a huge layoff. 2016, your last fight, and now coming in against Cejudo, who's obviously 15-2, 2-weight world champ on a 5-fight win streak.
But he did have 2 years out of the ring when he came back and reclaimed his throne against TJ Dillashaw.
Yeah, so like obviously his last fight was June last year with a huge win over Marlon Moraes, who I thought might have had the keys to beat him. So obviously he's fought a lot more recently than Cruz has, which is a huge advantage, obviously. I think the key for Cruz is to use that footwork that I spoke for. If you watch any of his fights, like against the likes of Faber, when he beat Faber, obviously he lost to Faber as well, but in fights where he beat Faber, and their legendary fights in the division, the footwork was the key. Anybody beat in the division between then and Cody Garbrandt, his loss to Cody Garbrandt, it was all down to the footwork and good hands and not getting hit. But I just think Cejudo is going to come out and wrestle him, and he's going to smother him in this fight. I think ring rust is a real thing, and I think that layoff since 2016 isn't going to help Dominic Cruz here.
So obviously that's nearly 4 years. I accept that, the ring rust. But as I said a second ago, he was out of the octagon for 2 years. He came back. He reclaimed his belt from TJ Dillashaw.
Yeah, the only thing is, I suppose, with Cejudo, he was out for 2 years. Like, in comparison to the injuries maybe Cruz has had, I mean, the guy wasn't able to wasn't able to walk properly for a while, like for a long while. I mean, and then obviously when he was recovering from his knee surgery, he got infections in the bottom of his feet. I can't think of the name of it right now, but we spoke about it before. It's like when you're sitting down so much and you don't walk on your feet, the skin on the bottom of your feet becomes weak or something, and you get like infections in the bottom of your feet. But he's had every injury imaginable, and I just think that. Sorry, go ahead.
With it, sorry. When Cruz beat Dillashaw, it was the case that I thought that was a good fight, but a lot of it was literally a how-to tutorial. I thought that like Cruz just dominated Dillashaw for a lot of that fight, and the way that I saw that fight, I was very impressed with him by that. I wouldn't criticize him for losing against Cody Garbrandt, because I remember the trash talk between both of them on Fox Sports, where Dominic Cruz is, the anchorman or whatever, and Cody Garbrandt's just won a fight, and they're talking to each other or whatever, and Dominic Cruz says, listen, I could eat you up for lunch, but you're not ready, and all this. I think the problem with Dominic Cruz against Cody Garbrandt, his loss, is that he just misunderstood him, man.
Yeah, maybe he did.
Sorry, he underestimated him completely.
Yeah, maybe he did underestimate him a little bit. I mean,
a lot, Sam. He looked shocked in there when it went wrong almost straight away.
Yeah, at the same time though, as well, he didn't. I think the one thing Cruz can take away from that is, even though he had an off night, he still didn't get finished, which is a big thing. Like, it's. I'm trying to think, like, obviously the only other loss he has on his record is against Faber, and that was when he was submitted back in the WEC days. But I think one thing he will take away from that fight is that even though he was so off on the night, Cody Garbrandt couldn't finish him, even though obviously he got the decision win. But just going back to that layoff, I just think that the key to this fight is going to be Cejudo has been more active recently, and he's fought the best competition in his last couple of fights in the division. I just think that he's going to come out, put the pressure on him, wrestle him, and it's just going to be too much for Dominic on the night. But I hope Dominic Cruz gets the win. I'd like to see him win. He's my favourite fighter, but I just think that that layoff is going to be too much for him.
Oh, listen, I can accept that. I would say that it's the way I'm kind of looking at it myself. If he's doing certain things where he's spending this amount of time out of the ring, whatever, why would he come back?
I mean, like, apart from those injuries, I mean, it's like he hasn't. Apart from his last to Faber was submission in WEC. That's a long time ago. Lost a decision on a very off day against Cody Garbrandt. So, I mean, he hasn't been beaten convincingly by anybody either. Like, apart from Cody, really, and Faber, but apart from those two, like, he hasn't been beaten convincingly. The injuries have held his career back a lot. So, if he feels fit enough to go, I don't see why he wouldn't. Obviously, he's been doing the punditry game for a while now, but yeah, I don't see why he wouldn't come back and try to make a run at the title if he feels fit enough. Like, I still think he's capable. Yeah. I still think he's got. I don't think he's lost the skills to do it, but I think maybe the layoff may affect him a bit against someone. I would have preferred if he had to come back against maybe some other contender in the division, maybe fought somebody like Aldo even, and then.
That would have been a good fight, actually.
Went on to fight Cejudo. But Yeah, I don't like. It's not as if he's lost the tools. I still think he's capable of winning the bantamweight title.
But it's when I was saying about why would he come back or whatever, when you're someone who's nothing else to prove, maybe as someone who wasn't a fighter, I'll never understand, but it's you have to make money. I understand that you have to support your family, but when you've achieved so much in the sport, are you not able to say you were a fan favorite, you're brilliant as a pundit, you're maybe taken care of financially? Are you not able to say, enough?
Yeah, I don't know. At the same time, like there's some people in the sport about MMA and boxing. They come into their prime in their 30s. So, I mean, he's 35
It's
now.
true.
So,
It's true.
so I mean, you look at Daniel Cormier. Like is he 40 now? And top of his game in his late 30s. But yeah, I mean, Cormier is 41 now, so he's late 30s. Coming up to 40s, he was in his prime, like So,
and they're still talking about a trilogy fight with Miocic, aren't they?
yeah, and then Triple G in boxing then in his 30s as well. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I know that's a fair point. But like I've said about Triple G, that I don't think Triple G should go for the Canelo 3 fight, because he could make an absolute truckload of money, but it's very unlikely he'll win, even though I thought he won the first 2 fights. And he is clearly past his best, and you've nothing else to prove. You're probably the greatest middleweight in the past 15 years. You know what I mean? So I don't know. That's the way I view things. But maybe I just have a different magnifying glass. But again, I can never understand, because I wasn't a fighter. It must be difficult when you were so amazing at something. Years later, some kid comes out and says, "I'm the greatest of all time." You're sitting as a pundit for Fox Sports or BT Sport or Sky, and then you're like, "Geez," you're like, if I was still fighting, I would absolutely mangle this kid. And then you want to get back. You know what I mean? After being out of the ring for 5 years. So. But you can understand why Cruz would want to come back.
yeah, definitely. As I said before, I think he's still capable of winning the bantamweight title, but I would have preferred if he had a couple of fights in the run up to it. The bookies agree with me. Cejudo is a -240 favourite, Dominic Cruz +200. So I think Cejudo takes it. I think he takes it by decision. I think he's going to out wrestle and smother him. As much as it's a great fight, I actually think it's going to be quite a boring fight itself. I think Cejudo is just going to wrestle him for the whole fight and try and smother him out to a decision. But just running out of time here, so I'm going to have to move on to
the
main event. So, as I said before, we set the scene here. Tony Ferguson is fighting Justin Gaethje for the interim lightweight title. Obviously, the main event was originally meant to set to feature Ferguson finally getting his crack at the lightweight championship against Khabib in Brooklyn. But obviously, the dream match for the 5th time has fallen through. Now we're in a situation where we have Ferguson against Gaethje for the interim lightweight title, and that was meant to take place in California at the Tattoo Palace Casino on tribal land in Northern California, and was ditched at the discretion of ESPN and Disney after they received a phone call from the governor of California, Gavin Newsom. As I said before, it didn't stop Tony Ferguson from weighing in at 155 pounds the day before the original scheduled fight, in typical El Kui fashion.
It's mad, like, what the hell?
Ferguson, he's 25-3 now. He's a freak in nature, as we know, cardio-wise, style-wise, and personality-wise. His last loss was to Michael Johnson in 2012. He's on a 12-fight win streak since then. The Gaethje fella, he's equally as crazy. He comes forward, swings for the fences, has huge KO power. He's on a 3-fight win streak. His last 2 losses, both by knockout, because of, we've spoke before about Gaethje's tendency to be a bit reckless from his World Series of Fighting days. And coming into the UFC, he had the tendency to be a bit reckless when he came forward looking for the knockout. Obviously, he's on a 3-fight win streak now. So we spoke about it before that he seems to be a bit more measured and composed. So
No, that's 100% true. I enjoyed his fight with Poirier, but it's like he still I'm not going to say walks towards his bone with his chin in his air, but he's still a bit reckless. Like he's not always great on the guard. Now I'm speaking as I'm speaking as a boxing fan, of course, but he has his hands down a lot and his chin kind of up. You're like it's great to be a KO artist, but when you're a KO artist and you're like that, that's the definition of recklessness.
yeah, so like as I said, his last 2 losses came by knockout, and that's from that recklessness and getting caught, But I actually think this is going to be less about a one-punch knockout kind of fight. This is going to be this fight. Donald Cerrone gave what I think is going to be a very accurate prediction of how the fight's going to go. So what Donald Cerrone said was that Gaethje was going to come out and throw leg kicks, obviously because Tony Ferguson had that knee surgery, and that's what Pettis tried to target as well in their fight. They tried to target Ferguson's leg with the leg kicks, wear him down, but Ferguson's going to put a lot of pressure on Gaethje. He's going to keep coming forward. He's got that ridiculous cardio, and I agree with Donald Cerrone in the way that he said that whoever's got the better cardio will win this fight. Now, Gaethje is no slouch for cardio-wise, but I think Tony Ferguson is just a freak of nature. I mean, the guy trains for 8 or 9 hours a day, non-stop, just ridiculous training, ridiculous cardio. I think he's just going to keep coming forward. He's just going to gradually break Gaethje down. And I think as the fight goes on and Gaethje becomes more tired, maybe when we see him a bit more reckless and then he starts getting caught with bigger shots. And then I agree not only with Cerrone but also with the bookies on this one. I think Tony Ferguson gets the win. He's the favourite for this fight. I think he gets the win, and with a bit of luck, hopefully.
Heavy?
Sorry?
Heavy favourite?
Not heavy as such, but he's minus 170 Gaethje's plus 150. But he's not a heavy favourite, but he is a favourite. But I think he gets the win, and hopefully with a bit of luck, we finally get to see him versus Khabib by the end of the year, and then possibly after that, who knows? We'll wait with the way other fights go. So,
how do you think it's gonna end? Like, you think it'll be by decision?
No, I think Ferguson gets the finish, but it'll either be. I think it'll either be by submission or he'll gradually get the TKO in by gradually breaking him down. It's not going to be a one-punch knockout. It's going to be a series of shots land because Gaethje gets more and more tired as the fight goes on, or else Gaethje shoots for takedown because of what's happening on the feet isn't working for him, and I think Ferguson would submit him if it went to the ground. So, yeah, I think either a laid on TKO finish or a submission for Tony Ferguson.
Yeah, I'd be. Yeah, it's just. Yeah, no, I think it's a really good fight. Could the winner of this fight McGregor?
I don't know. I mean, the funny thing about Conor McGregor is now his whole, I suppose, publicity campaign around this pandemic at the minute. He's actually probably, somebody made a point to me the other day, he's actually probably walked himself into a situation now where he can't actually fight for the rest of the year. So
that's a really good point. Yeah,
by trying to be this example and trying to drum up decent publicity for himself by telling everybody to stay at home. As the year goes on, people are going to gradually, especially in the UFC when they have to be paid, guys are just going to travel anyway. So big fights are going to occur no matter what. And I think McGregor has to. He can't just walk away from that now, or else it looks bad on his part.
100%. That's very bad from a social responsibility point of view. I couldn't agree with you more. Everyone appreciated the fact that he spent £1 million on PPE, and he gave that to Castlebar Regional Hospital all over the country in Dublin. Amazing. And it's done very well for him, I guess you could say, rebuilding his public image, you know? But the thing is like, he is also, in my view, you might disagree with this, I think he's too big a star to fight behind closed doors.
One thing I will say that's probably in his favour, though, to fight behind closed doors, is that he'd be his contracts now, obviously for every fight he does, involve a cut of the pay-per-view money. So, I mean, to be honest, I like with America opening up now by the end of the summer, I would say fans will probably be back in arenas anyway. So I don't think there's much. I don't think there's any sign of a fight behind closed doors for him anyway anytime soon. I think by the time he's prepared to fight again, people will be back in arenas anyway. But if he was to fight behind closed doors, that whole thing of him being entitled to a cut of the pay-per-view money might be an incentive. But
do you think if he's kind of stranded here, do you think there is any way he fights UFC Dublin? Do you understand why I'd ask? He's almost he to be personally from a pure point of view, to be consistent, he has to obey his example. You know, social distance, you know, closing borders, all this. Yeah. But if he's in Dublin already, and UFC Dublin's in August, could it?
No, so like, I mean, what day is I'm trying to think, what day is the UFC Dublin card meant to be?
I'm pretty certain it's the first week in August.
Yeah, so I mean, if the plan that was released by the government here doesn't allow nightclubs and that sort of thing to open back up to August 10th, they're certainly not going to allow 10,000 people into the arena in Detroit Arena for a UFC card. So,
who says it has to be in front of a crowd?
I mean, would it be worried that I don't see the point in doing an event in Dublin if it's not going to be in front of a crowd, like, you know.
Mate, I could not agree with you more. I could not agree with you more. I'm just talking about dates here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, I think if anything is going to be behind closed doors, it's going to be in places. It's going to be in places like the US, where they're starting to open up regardless. It's going to be. Excuse me. Oh, no sleep last night, but anyway, no, it's going to be in places like Florida. It's going to be like places in the south, or it's going to be in Vegas. It's going to be behind closed doors, but it's not. I don't see. And if something is behind closed doors, it's in their interest to have it on US time. So they're not going to have it in Dublin behind closed doors. No way. But
so it's but you understand why I would ask. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It's him fighting in Dublin ever again. In my view, is very unlikely. But now with this terrible crisis, it almost is more likely. You know what I mean? So it might not be Conor who the winner fights, and it could be, but we don't know, and we won't know until Saturday next week. We're recording this on Sunday, 6 days before. It'll be released a few days before anyway, so hopefully the thing won't get cancelled again anyways. Was there any last words you wanted to say about the main event or anything like that?
Yeah, so just with regards to the main event, as I said, I think Tony Ferguson gets the job done, and I think he gets it done by submission or TKO late on. That's gradually due to him wearing down Justin Gaethje over the course of the few rounds. But what I want to do is the last roundup. I just want to go from bottom to top and give you my overall predictions. Obviously, we couldn't discuss.
Brilliant! Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Couldn't discuss the overall. Couldn't discuss every fight on the card in as much detail, but there's some great fights on the card there I think deserve mention. So I'm just going to give a prediction for each of them. So Kicking off the card, we have Ryan Spann against Sam Alvey. I think Ryan Spann gets the job done there. He's the heavy favourite for that fight. But I think there's no doubt he'll get the job done there. Bryce Mitchell against Charles Rosa. Close enough fight there. I'm going to go Rosa for that one. Vicente Luque against Nico Price is a pretty good fight. But I agree with the bookies for that one. I think Vicente Luque gets the job done there. Jacare Souza against Uriah Hall. Souza is a slight favourite there, but I wouldn't count Hall out there. And I'm going to go with Uriah Hall to get the win there. Carla Esparza against the karate hottie Michelle Watterson. Esparza is the favourite there. And I agree, I think she's going to get the job done there over Michelle Watterson. Fabricio Werdum against Alexei Olenek. Werdum is the favourite. I think I'm going to go with Alexei Olenek to cause a bit of an upset there. But Fabricio Werdum, no spring chicken there. So Greg Hardy is the favourite against Jorgen De Castro, and I think Greg Hardy gets the job done there. Anthony Pettis against Donald Cerrone. As I said before, I think that Donald Cerrone is going to get the job done there. I think maybe he's had a better training camp and that he has more to prove. Calvin Kattar against Jeremy Stevens. Calvin Kattar, I think, gets the job done there. I think Stevens his chance may have passed him by a bit there with regards to featherweight title chance. Francis Ngannou against Jairzinho Rosenstruck. I'm going to go with Francis Ngannou just through pure freakishness of nature. That's how he gets the job done, by just being freak of nature. So I think he gets the finish there by KO. And then Cejudo against Dominic Cruz. As much as I want to tell everybody Dominic Cruz is going to win the fight, I think Cejudo gets the job done by decision, by smothering him and wrestling him. And then finally, Tony Ferguson against Justin Gaethje. As I said before, Ferguson gets the job done either by submission laid on or else by a TKO laid on, and he's going to wear Justin Gaethje down. And Justin Gaethje is not going to enjoy a single second of being in there with that freak.
Yeah, he is an absolute freak. Listen, Sam, that was some random. Thanks, mate. I just want to say about Fabricio Werdum on a side note, I'm happy he's on the card, because I don't know if you ever saw that video clip of a confrontation between him, Fabricio Werdum, and that snake oil salesman, Edmund Tarverdian.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Yeah. Anyways, guys, if you want to, thanks so much for joining us in episode 17. If you want to follow us on social media, it'll be @FighterPodcast. We'll be having a few updates about UFC 249. I'll put up some of my hilarious memes on Instagram. And that's it. Anyways, also, I just for a disclaimer, for legal reasons, Big Joe Joyce, I was not calling you out. It was just banter, let's say. Thanks for joining the Complete Fire podcast. Talk to you again soon.
Take it easy.